So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail? A smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change? Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage? How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground. What have we found? The same old fears. Wish you were here.
Hi everybody, it's Pusky Pete from Melbourne, Australia. We've got a fantastic show for you. How are you today, Cathy, CC, Carlson? And give everyone out there our introductions. Let's go with our two great guests.
Okay, well, I'm so excited that we're going to be talking with Ginger Gilmour because she gave me this book and it's Memoirs of the Bright Side of the Moon 3 years ago during the pandemic, and I can't wait to talk about it. All right, so anyway, we're very excited to discuss Ginger's two new books that she's going to be going on tour with, and one of them is called Behind the Wall, and then the other book, can you explain the other book, Ginger, the title on the other book?
It's called The Memoirs of the Bright Side of the Moon.
We welcome James Ziegler.
What do you want to know about it? It's my journey from when I first met David Gilmour in 1971. And my mother couldn't believe that I joined a rock and roll band. She was like, what?
That's unbelievable.
It was quite unbelievable. I was of the 60s for sure. And I had a lot of dreams, and I was an artist and just got a lead role in a motion picture film similar to Easy Rider. And then this one weekend I met David and left.
I got to say something about Easy Rider, just if I may. The producers of that are the ones that did the Monkey Show, just so you know. They're my favorite TV show, the Monkeys.
When I was in college, I was watching the Monkeys every day at 4 o'clock.
Okay, let's get more into David Gilmour. I'm just saying, what was it like? I'm just fascinated on the relationship and the music part of it, because everything's happening, isn't it?
Yeah, it has gone through many cycles. When I met Dave, he had been with the band just for a few years, and he knew Sid, and he was a very humble person. And he always, at the beginning, not when I met him, but previous to that, rumor has it that he used to play with his back to the audience. But he and I had a very special love relationship, I have to say.
There's a new documentary now on Sid Barrett. It's called Have You Got It Yet? You got to
No,
see it. You got
I
to
haven't
see that
seen it.
one. It's just been released.
I just found it being a very in love wife that after 23 years, people are still saying that Dave was the baby. You know, I mean, Sid was only with them for a few years, and he's become a mythological character, hasn't he? I personally like the music that Dave started to bring in, and I loved how you travel on it, and it goes for me being very very much into the importance of creativity to touch the highest of what we are as human beings. That type of music does it for me. It allows you space to touch the multi-universe of who we are, which most of the stuff in our world keeps you grounded into materialism that doesn't serve the best for humanity. And that's what I represent, and that's what I feel we together lived. And that's the tour that I'm doing is called Celebration of Beauty through Pink Floyd music. And I've designed all the videos behind that takes you, the intention of the music that we play will be to take you to that place of beauty, not the argument, not the guys, but the music that takes you to the place beyond the music. And that's what our intention is.
I was going to show you some pictures, but I don't know how well they'll come out. Of
Yeah.
Ginger and David as well.
The one on the right is us in Greece on Rhodes. The one on the left is the day that we first came home with wee Alice. The one on the bottom is when we got married, 4 years after being together.
Beautiful.
And we're on a boat to Turkey in the middle one.
Beautiful. Nice.
Thank you.
Ginger, can I ask you, are you able to show some of your fantastic artwork pieces there? Because I know you've got a few around.
Yeah. I've got these two little beings here.
Yeah. Also, you've got some paintings.
Yep. Hang on. Here comes one.
That's fantastic.
Do you know of the lions that have blue eyes that are in Africa?
No, I don't.
There's a place there. Where is it? Starts with a T. It's a big sanctuary now for the blue-eyed lions. And when I had read the book about Linda Tucker, I was totally inspired to paint them because according to the Africans, there are very special beings here to bring peace.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Wow, that's so inspirational.
Then we've got his wife.
Wow. Nice. So gentle looking. Yeah.
They're very, very, very wise beings. I paint with oil because I studied with a teacher in the ILEA called Cecil Collins. And he taught us that the dimension of who we are, because we're not just this body, we're many dimensions beyond it. And how painting should reflect that experience. So how we do that is that he recommended we put a glaze in between each layer so that the light travels through. If you use acrylics, the light only comes towards you. You don't. So, but we're matter and we're the invisible aspect of our spiritual side. So what I do, I have, you have opaque colors and you have translucent colors and you have transparent colors, and then you have the clear glaze. So I incorporate different relationships of those colors so that the opaque will just reflect matter back to you.
Yep.
And translucent will start being the bridge, and then transparent represents the spiritual transcendent side of who we are. And all of my artwork gives that experience when you see it close up.
In your life, I mean, obviously the Beatles have inspired you a lot.
Oh,
have they inspired you at all with artwork and with their songs? I'm just asking.
You can ask me and I can say yes. Before, in between marriages, George sent a little card of me, a photograph of me that's Terry Doran, his man Friday, was on holiday with us, and he goes, George really wants to take you out. And I went, well, that's really great. I dreamt of that since I was a teenager, but I'm afraid I love my husband.
Wow.
He came a bit late. He came a bit late, but my kids love it, and I love their music. I really do. It's my life, just like the Floyd is my life.
Yeah.
It isn't that I was married to him. I was married to the music.
Well, here's another gorgeous postcard. And it says, visualize world peace together. Yep. And then on the back, there's this official seal that you do that I think is just lovely. You make it really, really, just personal for everyone.
Yeah.
And this one as well. That's another sculpture.
That's a lady and two angels.
Oh, okay. The angel on each side.
Yeah. Okay. And they're all painted with that more translucent color. And she's three-dimensional and actually has copper leaf. So that's a metal that brings you into matter. And then it travels out. And when you see the picture close up, all these little bits here are like lace work. So you see through it. So matter's starting to see through into the translucent side of the painting. And then we go into the symbol of angels, of course. Yeah. They're transparent.
To me, that looks like so heavenly. Seriously, it's like another zone.
Well, when I look at you guys, you're heaven.
Thank you. You're so kind. It's so nice. All right.
You're such
every human being has this. It's just your thought forms that think, you're a load of rubbish. I'm sorry. I see the potential of the truth of what every person is. It's and amazing. That's what I paint. That's what I talk about. That's what I write about.
Ginger, have you been on, for example, trips to India? Just what I'm saying is to find yourself or your being or your knowledge. Where have you been in the world that has really contributed to your thinking?
Well, I was fortunate to meet a woman called Irina Tweedy. She was a Sufi. She sent me to Cecil Collins in the ILEA. Then I studied for 8 years in color healing with a woman called Lily Cornford in London. And then I was graced to have therapy with Gerhard Adler, top Jungian, and then my life. And there comes a point where Mrs. Tweedy said, right, I've told you everything you need to know. Don't come back to me. Just live it. It's a matter of not doing. It's a matter of being. And that's what I've been working on for decades.
Now, did you grow up in Philadelphia, Ginger? I mean, your accent is so strong. I'm just curious. It says so in your book, right?
Yeah. Do you think I sound American?
No, you don't. You sound American. I was married to a Brit, so I know.
I know. It seeps in, I have to say. I probably, if I lived in Australia, I'd start talking like you guys.
No, I got to say, honestly, to me, it sounds from the US, like your voice to me sounds like someone from the US, but my guess is that you've been around the world and so much culturally with everything that, as I said, I'm sure even when you go to Greece, it's like, you just fit in. That's the kind of person I am too. I just fit into whatever environment I'm in.
Yeah, it's a matter of responding and respecting the culture and learning from them. There's something unique in every group of people and in every individual. Not one person's the same. And it's like, can we rejoice in our differences is what I live by. And when I see the glint and the smile in people, and James, you've got a bit of that too, even though you sit there quiet, you've got a smile in your heart, and all of you do. And that's what I think unites us all. And that's what I try to open in people, inspire them to see that.
But I sit quiet because I didn't want to interrupt.
Well, that's you. You just sit there with such respect. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And you nod your head occasionally.
But can I say a quote? Because it's so beautiful, Ginger. You said, enter through the doorway that divides the light from the moon and back from the moon into the light again. That's so beautiful.
What's fascinating in the teachings that I have gone through is that there was a point in the spiritual training, it was darkness to light. So therefore you've got the dark side of the moon. So that music was very responsive to that teaching. Now, the reason why I call my book The Bright Side of the Moon is because the teachings have gone. Humanity knows that they don't want the dark side. They know they are part of the light side. That's not new now. What they are learning now is that they have to go from the light to the light. Therefore, the darkness will dissolve and you will be in a place of multi-universe in matter, bringing heaven and beauty and love to the planet, which is what we're supposed to be doing.
Behind the Wall. What is that about, Ginger, the newest book?
Well, I was asked if I could do a shorter version of memoirs. I self-published memoirs because I was very knee-deep in the importance of color, healing, and people becoming aware of who they are. So I integrated that process in there. And as you go through the book, the colors change as well. They're all subtly giving you something. So that by the end, a lot of people said, oh, I just started reading it because I love Pink Floyd. But by the end, I found who I was. And I wanted control of that. By the time I got to this one, 6-7 years later, I could reduce it down to where the same process is there, but with fewer pages. So what I like so much about this is it's brief, but it's like as you get closer and closer to realizing your soul purpose, you don't need as much. In being, there's less and less that you have to say and do. You just are. And therefore, this was an experiment to see if I could be, as I was writing in matter, the same thing that memoirs is. But memoirs is really important for another aspect. It depends on where you are and what you need. Then I have another book that I've done just of all my art.
He loves the cover on that. Yeah.
That's one of my paintings that I did when David and I was seeing Mrs. Adler. And, you know, the Jungians have you do drawings and stuff. And this was a drawing, actually pink, before they had pink, was lying here crunched up in the corner. But the light was coming down from the beauty of life. But I was inside a prison. That's what it felt like. But the light was shining on me. And that's the point of this cover, is that and behind the wall, it talks about what is behind the wall, not all the arguments and everything, but you, what you are in your soul and the beauty of who you really are is there at every person. And that's what it's called, Behind the Wall. So some people think it's associated with the Floyd, but in a lot of ways it is, but it's the catch-22 of the title. For me, it's the spiritual side that lies behind the walls we all put up.
My parents were Greek. So, I mean, I live my life. Music is a big part of my life. You know, living life is a big part of my life. Enjoying, let's say, Greek food is a big part of my life. But what I'm saying is the way I see life, this is my analogy, right? It's like a tree with apples. And what happens is you can't choose too many apples. You've just got to take just 1 or 2 or 3. For example, your first apple might be health. That's your most important thing, right? Not money, not material things. Like you don't wake up every day saying, I need to make $1 million until you drive yourself to death. See, stress kills a lot of people. No, I'm being honest. This is the way I see life. So in other words, you have a balance like a lever. And if you choose money, The health is down here. The money's up there, but the money's not going to help you if you're dead. So you've got to have a balance of where you don't want too much and you don't want to take too much from Mother Nature, the tree. That's how I see it. I don't know how you see it, but I'm just giving you my analogy.
What's very interesting for me is that a tree, nature, it takes in carbon dioxide and it gives out oxygen. We need oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide. There's an immediate symbiotic relationship between us and nature. The further you get away from being part of that and you fill the air with pollution and you destroy more and more of your own home, Mother Nature, you lose the unity and the harmony that we need to have.
Cathy has sent me photos of her hugging trees. Now, to me, I'd never seen that before, and I didn't think it was funny. I thought that was really you as a human being so close to nature. That we should be doing more of. Like really appreciating our surroundings and nature, because we don't want nature to go. There'll be nothing on the earth. So I really appreciate seeing that photo of you hugging the tree, Cathy. It brought.
Oh, thank you. I'll resend it to you just so it cheer you up.
I had a homeopathic alternative doctor from India that saved me from near dying, which is in my book. And when he had me, we had just the three girls, and we had a hook end English 16th century house, which has lead lighted windows. So my three girls, like this at the window, he had me walking barefoot in the morning on the snow, on the dew, on the summer grass every day. And they'd be there waiting for their pancakes while mom did that. And there are lots of mumisms that they've had because of my eccentric way of doing things.
Ginger, now you're going on an incredible tour to the US and Australia. Can you just say a little bit about it?
Yes, I've written a new book by the person that's organized it called Tony King, but his real name was Bob Evans. It's his journey to become Tony King. He was in Badfinger. He'll be playing those songs. The Romantics are there. And the book is called Bob Evans Becoming Tony King. That is available by Thunder Bay Galleries, I believe.com. And that's what it's all about, that we're bringing in the music of those groups, plus I'm doing the Pink Floyd experience. And I believe that Australia and New Zealand will be in the new year.
That's amazing. That's great for Australia and New Zealand.
I really want to go there.
No, you'll be coming. Don't worry. It's so fantastic. Just doing this interview is just like, it's a pleasure and a highlight. You know what I mean? It opens up your mind when you appreciate other human beings and what they do and how they get there and what their creative processes are, how you're working on so many projects, right, for the world. I mean, you know, it doesn't really get any better than that. And it's not, as I said, I was saying myself, I've been doing interviews for 3.5 years. I haven't done it for financial gain. I've just done it for the love of the world. And I can see that comes across from you too. It's just like, it's you being you and loving the world and loving everyone. I mean, I just find it amazing.
The art of living is what I try to inspire in people about. Beauty is really there. I do want to say something about money, though. Money isn't happy. The soul of money is not happy because it's not used to help humanity. And I talk to money and I say, I know a lot of people that really want to help you be happy. And therefore, we have to be careful about denigrating it because it gets really unhappy. Having the intent first to help humanity, using money to help humanity is really important. And it's a great example. And we do need to do that. We do need to have money help humanity. And it's only through you living it and speaking it and sharing it that it happens.
Ginger, I just got to ask you where they can obtain your books from, if you can give us some links or where it is.
Yeah. Behind the Wall is on Amazon. Memoirs you get through my website shop. It's Ginger Gilmour shop. My art book is the portfolio is only available through me, so you have to email me at ginger@gingerart.net. And Bob Evans Becoming Tony King, which is an amazing story all the way through the 60s in Nashville and now in the Beatles and even Madonna. Tony King's whole life of what he went through. And he's now creating quite soon a new TV competition called Eson Global Rock, where he is going to have people from all walks, all cultures there. So it's unifying, not just America, not just England. It's the whole world is going to rejoice in our differences. And that's the point.
I want to thank you so much, Ginger and James, for being on the show. Cathy, another great show. Our love to both of you for being on this show. It's fantastic. You agree, Cathy?
Thank you.
All right, I agree.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Ginger.
The lunatic is on the grass. The lunatic is on the grass, remembering games and daisy chains and laughs. Got to keep the loonies on the path. The lunatic is in the hall. The lunatics are in my hall. The paper holds their folded faces to the floor. And every day, the paper boy brings more. And if the cloud bursts thunder in your ear, you shout, and no one seems to hear. And if the band you're in starts playing different tunes, well, I'll see you on the bright side of the moon.
You didn't do the 1, 2, 3. You just went, whoop.